A draft of a Supreme Court opinion leaked to the press reportedly suggests the justices are preparing to overturn Roe v. Wade, the ruling that legalized abortion.
So you may just be waking up to this bombshell. We're here to get you up to speed. It's all detailed in a 98-page document obtained by Politico that was circulated among the justices in February.
In the leaked document, Justice Samuel Alito wrote in part, quote, Roe was egregiously wrong from the start. If the opinion becomes official, it would allow state legislatures to craft their own laws restricting abortion. The court did not comment on the report. We have live team coverage for you this morning. We're going to get some local reaction from our Cara Duffy in just a moment.
But first, let's start our team coverage with Jay O'Brien at the live desk. Jay, it's a major news today, not just because of what this means for abortion in our country, but also because of how this information came to light. What are you learning today?
Yeah, good morning, Matt and Sam. A lot of Americans waking up to a world that has shifted beneath their feet overnight. All of it is starting with that Politico report. Last night, Politico obtained and published this draft opinion. It spells doom for Roe v. Wade. In the opinion, Justice Samuel Alito saying that he and a majority of justices on that high court believe the right to an abortion should be overturned and the power to regulate abortions should be entirely returned back to the states and to the Congress. If Roe is overturned, that would wipe away decades of established law and upend women's health care in this country. But how we found out about this possible decision was also in and of itself unprecedented. The opinion was leaked to Politico from within the secretive walls of the Supreme Court. Remember, it is still a draft. The 9 justices typically circulate these opinions amongst themselves for months, tweaking them, hashing out different legal arguments, and smack in the middle of that process, this opinion gets made public. The Supreme Court has had some leaks before, but never anything like this, never a physical document leaving its walls, and the impact is already being felt. There are already widespread protests, strong reaction from lawmakers on both sides of the aisle, and don't forget those 18 states we told you about earlier on in the broadcast that already have abortion bans ready to go on the books, ready to be set into law if the court were to go ahead and overturn Roe. Florida is not one of those states, but if this opinion is made final, right now it's a draft, there are a lot of people waiting to see what the court's going to do there. Matt and Sam.
All right, thanks, Jay. In the nation's capital, bracing for what could potentially be some unrest there today and in the coming days. Protesters started gathering there late last night after the Politico report was published.
You don't care if people die.
You heard there people chanting, "You don't care if people die." Let's bring in Cara Duffy now. She's been speaking to people in our community about this.
Yeah, Cara, what are you hearing this morning?
Well, Matt, Sam, as you can imagine, of course, abortion rights have and likely always will be a very controversial topic. As we just saw, there are hundreds of opponents and supporters of abortion rights clashing outside of the Supreme Court overnight. Perhaps a preview of the state-by-state fight that may lie ahead for both sides of this. And as we wait to see how this all unfolds and gather reaction as more people wake up and learn of the explosive new report, Planned Parenthood is speaking out. They took to Twitter shortly after the news broke, writing, "Let's be clear, this is a draft opinion. It's outrageous, it's unprecedented, but it is not final. Abortion is your right, and it is still legal." They also went on to say that this report makes it clear that their deepest fears are coming true, calling it a crisis moment for abortion access. This battle's certainly not over yet. We know it's a very divided topic, one we will all be watching closely as it continues to play out. As Jay had mentioned, a final opinion on this could still be weeks out.
And beyond, they are hoping to court Jewish voters here in South Florida who routinely vote Democrat.
But the GOP leadership believes the tides are changing, and today they brought in the big guns, former Vice President Mike Pence.
CBS 12's Lena Salzbank has more on his visit and what she also talked to him about in her one-on-one interview tonight. Lena.
Jim, Liz, more on that interview in a moment. But the big reason why the former vice president was here in town was because the RNC is opening up its first ever Jewish community center right here in Boca. And while it's quiet out here behind me now, earlier this afternoon, it was packed here and the crowd was extremely excited when Mr. Pence said that the Republicans would be winning back America in 2024.
And hello, Florida.
A standing ovation for the former vice president who greeted the crowd at the RNC's first ever Jewish Community Center on North Federal Highway in Boca Raton.
Today, by opening this center as part of a movement to open community centers all across the country, We are opening the doors wide to the Republican Party.
Republicans plan to open dozens of these centers around the country in hopes of turning longtime loyal Democrats.
We are going to win back the Congress in 2022. We're going to re-elect Governor Ron DeSantis in 2022, and we're going to win back America.
Jewish voters have long been in the back pocket of the Democratic Party, but Republicans are hoping to change that.
We take a strong stand for religious liberty. We denounce anti-Semitism in all of its forms.
During our one-on-one interview, we also asked Mr. Pence about reports he might be asked to return to Washington to testify.
Now that a year has passed, what are your feelings about January 6th, and are you considering, going in front of the committee?
Well, January 6th was a tragic day, and I know there's been much debate about my role among some, but I know we did our duty that day. I know that we did right to uphold the language of the Constitution of the United States. We'll certainly consider any requests that would come in from the committee or from others.
President Donald Trump has been flirting with the idea of making a run in 2024, but he has made it clear that you wouldn't be on that ticket. Now, looking at your schedule, you've been to Iowa and New Hampshire, and you're also, I think, planning a trip to South Carolina. Does that mean that you're possibly thinking of running in 2024 as well?
All of my focus right now, like here in Florida today, is on making sure we're doing everything necessary to elect and re-elect strong conservative leadership all across this country. I think it's important that we re-elect great governors around the country, that we send Ron DeSantis back to the State House here in Florida.
Mr. Pence is not sitting on the sidelines. He's traveling to other cities, and he tells me that he is going to continue promoting and supporting all the other Republican candidates up until the November election.
Summer is just around the corner, and that means more people heading to the beach in Palm Beach County and on the Treasure Coast. But as Stephanie Valderrama explains, more people swimming in the water could attract more sharks to shore. She is live at the Lake Worth Beach Pier with some important safety tips to keep in mind. Stephanie?
Yeah, Liz, with so many new people moving down here, and even more people coming to visit, they might not be as familiar with some of the dangers that lurk in our waters. So I wanted to ask an expert why he believes there's been more shark bites in our area recently and what people should know.
These are the ones that are the culprits right here.
Florida Atlantic University biological professor Stephen Kajura tells CBS 12 News this is the jaw of a full-grown black-tip shark. He says they tend to be on the smaller size, on average around 5 feet long, but their smaller size allows them to come closer to shore. Based off of his research, he says they account for most shark bites in Florida.
And when it does bite, it's going to be pinprick bites, these sharp individual teeth that are going to pierce the skin, but it's not going to do much more than that.
Our partners at the Sun Sentinel have reported 3 shark bites in Palm Beach County in just the last few months. Is it that the sharks are getting closer to the shore?
Looking at the aerial survey data that we've collected over the past 12 years or so, it does not appear that the sharks are any closer to shore now. They've always been close to shore. I think it's simply a matter of more people in the water just increases the probability that someone is going to get bitten.
With the summer months almost here, Kajura anticipates more encounters between sharks and humans as more people head out to the beach. But some locals aren't worried. Are you ever worried about sharks when you come to the beach?
No.
Why is that?
Because the sharks are worried about me. I don't worry about them.
And those visiting, like these ladies in town for a wedding who were walking the Lake Worth Pier on Monday, say they know what to do if they get in the water and happen to encounter a shark.
I'd probably scream, probably get a little anxious, a little frantic, but I know they try to tell you to stay calm.
She's not wrong. Professor Kajura says to avoid swimming in murky waters or in places where fishermen may be fishing with bait.
If you do swim, maybe swim somewhere where there is a lifeguard tower nearby, so in case you do get bitten, you have help immediately available to you.
So earlier today, we were actually talking to some of the
fishermen up on the pier, and they spotted quite a large shark. They couldn't tell from the pier what kind it was, but just another reminder to keep your eyes peeled when you're out here enjoying our beautiful coastline. Reporting live in Lake Worth Beach, Stephanie Valderrama, CBS 12 News.
Florida was named the shark bite capital of the world, according to a study from the Florida Museum of Natural History. Researchers say our state accounts for a third of all attacks worldwide. Florida had 28 unprovoked shark bites last year. Volusia County near Daytona Beach had the most of them with 17. St. Lucie County and Miami-Dade each had 2, while Martin and Palm Beach and Broward counties had 1 attack each. Fortunately, none of them were fatal.